Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Jolanda and I'm coming to you from the east of the Netherlands. I have a pretty co-host here today. She's my sweet cat Molly. So it's been a while since I've spoken to you last. And well, it was not planned like this, but sometimes it happens. And it was just health problems, and that's something you cannot really control. So today is Sunday and we're at episode, let me have a look, I think somewhere in the 60s. Yes, we have episode 61. And yeah, I have many things to share with you, so it was it was a good moment to sit down and record an episode before everything becomes way too much and we will sit here forever and a day, which is not as something we want to do, right? So I do have some finished objects. One of them is what I'm wearing. It is the Ophelia blouse. And I'm so happy with this. It is, I think it's one of my favorites, most favorite garments I made. It is exactly as I would like it. The fit, the size, yeah, the material. It is just really cozy, and the color I think is really pretty. Um, Let me tell you what exactly the pattern is. Um, I have to go back and forth a bit because the last time I have not started this yet, but I didn't definitely wanted to make it. Um, yeah, I wrote down a new cast on the Ophelia blouse by Selina Dyering, and she has another name, but I will put it on the screen. I knitted this on 3.5 millimeter needles, and the gauge was 21 stitches by 30 rows, and I used Drops Nord the color 20 blush. And I will put in some photos and a little video for you to see how this fits. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. Before I blocked it, it was all standing up, and I was like, "Ugh, I hope this will lay flat." So I put it on my dress form. I put pins in it, and it dried on my dress form, which was actually went very well. I'd done that before, and yeah, I took it off, and it just fits. It lays flat, and it fits perfectly. And this is one of the things uh, I'm struggling with the look I'm going for and the colors, as I told you before. So I think this is part of the new look I really would like to continue and find clothes to match with. And yeah, well, this really makes me happy. But that is not always the case, of course, because sometimes we make something that is a bit disappointing, and sometimes it does turn out very well, and this is one of them. So excuse me for going back and forward in my book because it has been a while and I can't remember all the things. So I have a finished object that was finished. I wanted to record in August, but I became quite ill, so that was not an option. So I kept postponing it, and that's a difficult thing for me to accept, that sometimes things just can't happen, and then I get all anxious because I want to do things I can't. And yeah, then you at some point you just have to let it go and wait for the moment to come. So this is the sweater is Roots and Shoots by Teddy Lutzak. I did the 12 cast ons of 2024, and this was cast on number 2 or 12. Wow. Well, it was knitted on 3 millimeter needle, and I used my hand dye yarn for this. So it turned out pretty well. I haven't tried it on. This one also I let dry on my dress form. Um, it has a nice corrugated rib. I think this is all a bit small, but I got small arms that it still fits. It looked like I couldn't even get in here, but it's pretty okay. Um, yeah, what can I say? It's a very nice pattern. I made a mistake in the color work, but nobody knows and nobody will find out. So yeah, there's a crochet edging just around the edge here. And yeah, the color work is just float, float, floats. I try to catch the floats every 3 or 4 stitches. I do the color work with both hands. I haven't figured out the whole concept about dominant color or not. Um, it's getting a little bit clearer for me, but I'm a left-handed knitter, and sometimes that is just turning things around, right? So slip, slip, knit, and knit two together, they just are reversed for me. If I read the chart, I just have to switch them out, and that is sometimes a little bit tricky for the brain. So, yeah, what can I say? The color is too bright for me, but that is something you figure out later. So I also finished an object, and that was already a summer tea. We just suddenly turned into fall here. It's getting pretty cold. We had a real cold night, but this was still a summer knit, and I made 3 tops in total, 2 for this year, and one was a lot older. But all 3 of them are knitted in drops bell. So I wanted to show you that it stays pretty nice. I just wash them in the washing machine and just put them on the drying rack to dry. But first, the finished object is the Cristallo, my knitting for breakfast. And I knitted this on 3.25 needles, and I used 8 balls of drops bell. And I changed the neckline a bit. So this is the T, which also fits quite nicely in what I think of what my wardrobe should look like. So there's a romantic edge to all this. I think lace is something I would really prefer right now. I've looked at some color work, and if I look closely, it draws too much attention because I'm quite yeah, they call it soft. My features are quite soft, and very quickly, if there's too much going on color wise, too bright, or then the attention goes immediately to the sweater and you kind of disappear. So the whole concept of the color analysis is mostly about finding a balance. So if you look at me, you can actually see me, my face, without the sweater drawing all the attention. So I think this is a better color than this, but I think both will work okay. I'm still struggling with um, exactly how. I just made a picot edge here, which is very simple. I crocheted this. So yeah, I don't have any pictures yet of the full finished garment. I have some pictures without the sleeves. So this wears very nice. The thing is, I think if I had to say something about the yarn, it is a DK weight. I find it quite thick for summer wear, but I definitely wore it. It is not extremely warm. I just find it thick. You know, it's something in the brain like summer should be thinner. So another one in the drop spell I made is this one, and that is a variation of the ranunculus. So here I also changed the neckline into this scalloped edging. I explained that a few, maybe last podcast or the one before that. I used that edging from a different pattern. So that is absolutely a thing you can do. So I just cast it on and did no ribbing or neckband, and in the end I crocheted the edging. So this has been worn a lot and also washed a few times, which brings me to the last garment, and that was a test knit for Jennifer Wood I did years ago. That is really an old pattern and an old, so this is way brighter than it actually is. It is yeah, a muted red, but that doesn't matter. It shows that the garment and the yarn really holds up really nicely, and this is a reversible pattern, so back and front are the same. If you have normally a raglan increases, the increases are done on this line, which gives it a different look. So these projects are all to be found on my Ravelry project pages, and that is on Ravelry and on Instagram. You can find me as Jolanda Loves Yarn. I try to keep everything up on Ravelry, but Instagram I'm not so active at the moment. I try to keep it a bit calm, calm, and low stress and low expectations. That's the thing momentarily I really have to hold on to. So after that, I finished many pairs of socks. So I have a sock knitting machine, and a few years ago I ended up knitting a lot of sock tubes. I sold some on Etsy, but Etsy shop is closed. It became way too expensive to maintain. So I just dug up all my sock tubes and started transferring them into socks. And I think I have two sons and they only wear hand knit socks. But at some point they get thin at the bottom of the sole. They don't wear holes in them. It just came so thin you can see right through them. So I try to mend it, but it gets quite thick. I'm not sure if that is, but it's just time for new socks. Sometimes that is just the case. I just got one pair. It's just hanging there. It doesn't really matter. So these are all start out as tubes, and I just add a cuff and a toe and a heel, and the heel is just you cut into the fabric. So you cut one strand and you unravel it, and that is no problem. I even showed it my son. It's the stitches don't even want to unravel because they've been sitting there in this form for so long they don't even know anything else. So I measure from the toe until the back of the foot, the heel, and then I measure how long my toe is when I knit it, and the heel is actually a toe, so it is exactly the same size. So you subtract the length of the toe from the total foot length, and that is then where you cut in for the heel, and then you knit the heel and you end up with a beautiful sock. So I had 50. This is drops Fable, and those are 50-gram balls, and my sons both have big feet, so they become quite short. So what I did is I unraveled a portion of the sock, and I did made it into a stripe. So uh, one row of the sock yarn and one row of the contrasting color, so you get a little bit of extra length. So that is what I did with this one. So I just do one by one rib, and I invested in some 2mm needles because this is really nicely tied and knitted on the sock knitting machine, and my knitting is quite loose. So if I do this on a 2.5 or 2.25 is usually what I do, it's still quite loose. So I thought, okay, that's going to be 2mm. Again, this was a 50-gram and that is you come up with some shorter socks for sure. They're not shorty socks, but they're a bit shorter than they would prefer, my sons. So these are foot length is a bit longer because Patrick definitely wears um, a bigger size than Michael. And this is another one. And if you look on the Drops website or you look at a Drops point, you can definitely find out what the colors are of these. They're just self-patterning yarns, which is really, really nice. So this is definitely knitted on 2.25. This is much looser than what I made on this one. So yeah, it is somewhat looser, but it's still okay, I guess. So more socks. And what I want to do, because they're still talking about, Mom, we need more socks. And I say, yeah. But I will save them for Christmas. I will buy a nice box and put them in there, and they both get a box of socks from me. So still enjoying that. I did here the same with the stripes. So I get a few extra centimeters of length. So yeah, goes quite quickly actually. I was not so in the mood for socks for a long time, and now I just finish one after another. It's not a job at all. And if you do a few, you know exactly. So here I had actually 250 grams. I, I drew off on my box of sock tubes. So and you get quite big socks. So I unraveled the top part and I knitted in the same color as I unraveled. I just made these cuffs. I did the same for the toe. I unraveled something extra for the heel. So these are completely patterned without contrasting heels or toes. So Patrick already got a pair because he was not feeling so well and he was cold, and I had some thicker socks with which was a 6 ply, so they were a bit thicker, and I just gave them to him. And the next morning he came downstairs and said, "Where are your socks?" "I don't know," he said. "I forgot to put them on. I'm still cold feet." I said, "What are you trying? Are you trying to get more new socks?" And he was laughing. He said, "No, I just forget to put them on." All right, I think I had all the finished objects. I am looking through my works in progress, and I had one that was called the Heart and Soul sweater. I don't have it here, but I have a picture for you. And I started that November 2023. It is a pattern from Beach House Knits, and I knitted it in Drops Charisma in a blue color 37, which is a muted blue. And I thought that might be something I like to finish. It was yarn that was already unraveled from a sweater that I test knitted, but I was not so very happy with how it turned out. It was just my own error, but there was a gauge difference, and it turned out sleeves very tight and a bit too cropped. And yeah, well, I just wanted to, when I unraveled it, I just wanted immediately to find something new to knit with. I had also some Drops silk mohair that I wanted, there was a little bit left and I wanted to use that up too. So yeah, that happened. There's something else I wanted to tell you, but I forgot to bring that. That's okay. I just only thing I did actually was knit a big cage swatch from Drops Charisma. I used the color that I don't like so much, but I just wanted to make a good size gauge swatch for the next project I'm planning, and that is the Maris cardigan by Valentina. Valentina knits, I think, something like that. She makes the most beautiful patterns, and I saw this cardigan, and it is the Maris cardigan, and I thought that would be very nice. I had a very nice quantity of a grayish green, and I thought, well, it was barely enough. It was just short on a few balls, so I ordered a few balls, and I don't think with the drops charisma, because my stash was really old, the difference was very minimum. I could not see it with my eyes, but you might see it on screen, so I might choose to alternate skeins or use the newer skeins just for the sleeves or the button bands. I'll think about it. I made a cage foot, I washed it, I let it dry, and then it just was there because we had warm weather up until last week, really warm, almost 30 degrees. So that was not a exciting thing to do. But I really want some cardigans I can put over in the morning when it's just it's chilly, or yeah. And I thought that was a really pretty one. I needed one pattern from her, and I did not use the right yarn, and it was really the wrong color. The yarn was extremely stretchy, and it really went out of shape. And I really love her patterns. So I thought I would do a cardigan. Later on, I still saw a thinner top with a V neckline, and I bought that top also. I thought it would be easy to make it into long sleeves. So yeah. Then the next cast, I casted on something new because sure we do. That was called the Fairy Tale, and it is by Knitting for Breakfast, and such a beautiful pattern. Unfortunately, it is not very size inclusive. It is one of our earlier patterns. It only has 3 sizes, S, M, and L, and if you knit the yoke, it is all the same number. So it is the decreases for the larger sizes only start on the last section of the yoke. I so was in love with that, and I had 3 colors picked out. So it is light, dark, medium, and dark. So I did them in these 3, and I was like, it just was like in a week. And oh, I think it was even quicker. I could have finished it in a week. It was so addictive. And then I tried it on, and I thought, I don't know. And I just did it just before bedtime. I will put the pictures in here. And I already started the sleeve, and the sleeve was already until here. And I looked at the pictures again, and I thought, oh, that just doesn't really look so good. And I know if you block it out, I mean, you can show it here. This is what is left of it, because I reused the yoke. So that's the bottom part from here off. But yeah, it definitely needed a block, of course. But if I wear it, and it is because of those lines, I'm sure of it. And there was a line here, and there was a line in the yoke. And I showed the picture to my son and said, Mommy, you look like a barrel. Seriously, I look like a barrel. I was looking like I wore a barrel. I just gained 2 sizes at least. And I was like, oh, and I'm not against frogging, ripping out. I don't really care. But I loved it so much. And then I was like, I was so blind. I didn't even see that, because this is flattering. But this, you will see the pictures. I will definitely show it to you. And I learned a very good lesson, that I should not do very bright colors in a color work, and I should not use color blocks, because that does not look good on me. And while I was knitting this, I was constantly telling myself, okay, it's not too bad. And I looked at the pictures of the other people wearing it, and it's like, they all look kind of good in it. Some were, the color combinations I did not like as much, but they kind of all looked good. So I thought, I just keep going, this will work out. But it doesn't work out. It just is not looking good on me. I know I like the ones with some had a really nice fade with very close colors together, but the person in the designer also had I mean blue and grey, which were a big contrast, but it does not look good on me. Not at all. So, as I was knitting this, I thought this is going so quickly. And this is Drop Snort. I think this is really my favorite yarn. It's just so soft and drapey, but it doesn't stretch like alpaca does. It is just a mix that is for me a dream to knit with. I really love it. So I was already thinking, okay, if I finish this one, I will make one in just one color because I think that will look better. And then in the end, I thought, why would you want to finish something you're not gonna wear and then reknit it again? So I thought, okay, I took some pictures when I just had the cream here. And it looks so nice. I just was so in love with the lace, with the neckline, and it is. I was mostly in love because it is so simple. The lace was so simple and it looks so intricate knit up that I just thought, this is so much what I like. I like a little bit of variation and I love lace, but I'm I'm not so good in concentrating at the moment, and this was just so simple. It was just a 10 stitch repeat, and every second row is just knit. So why I still have this is because I want to measure how long this is. So when I add it to my stockinette part, I don't want it to end up too long because that happens easily, and then the whole garment is a bit out of proportions. So without any more babbling, this is the yoke that I just picked it out just like an afterthought. Here you just unravel one thread and it just falls off and you pick up the stitches because it was a separate color. So here is that yoke I fell in love with. And the neckline, it is so easy, and it is just because of this lace pattern it started doing the scallops, and the width was just exactly right. In the end, I chose to do the smallest size because my gauge was quite a bit off, and I already tried it on, and when I had this on, it was very wide also with the sleeve. So I hope I made the right decision. I think I should try it on before I knit another whole body and I have to frog it. But I just do stockinette and just as I measured this one, because this for me is a perfect length, that is 40 centimeters from the underarm until the ribbing. I just want to calculate that how much shorter I need to knit it before I start the lace. Then again, the sleeves were also with those ridges. I will not do the ridges. I will maybe do no decreases, but just these are straight. They have just a few decreases. Only can't even remember. Not much. I kind of like this, and there is lace at the end. So yes. So yeah, this is absolutely great, and I'm not sad about that part. I really saw it very clearly, and it's just something I need to remember. That just does not look good on me, and so that was a very good learning lesson. So yeah, there's nothing to be said about it. It's just a very good lesson, and I will use it for the future to choose my projects more wisely. So yeah, you can be drawn to something, but if you can remember what will look good on you or what will be a bit more disappointing, then you can make better choices, I think. And I hope I can learn and build a wardrobe that I really enjoy. And yeah, I used to just throw on some clothes and jeans with elastic and then a sweater, and that's it. And now I have a feeling I want to do a little bit more. I want to try to wear skirts and knit some nice lace socks and to wear under the skirt. And yeah, I ordered some skirts first, very cheap, just to see how the fit is. I still have a lot of fabrics here and I want to make some nice pants that more dressy. That's I just wear jeans because they're comfortable and they're stretchy. But now I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I was thinking about what kind of look I want to accomplish, and yeah, well, that's very fun. It's very fun. It's never too old, is it? You're never too old to do those things. So I had some beautiful yarn. Of course, I have a lot of beautiful yarn, don't we all? But I got that from um, my sons, and I dyed all kinds of colors, and blue was definitely favorite color before I knew anything about color theory and color analysis. And so I still have a lot of blue. I changed my room a bit here. Maybe I need a dryer for the winter up here because I have problems with my shoulders. I have problems with many parts of my body, and hanging your laundry to dry is kind of a heavy thing to do. So I wanted to make some space here, so there might fit a dryer in here. When they were doing some modifications to my house, I asked for some electric sockets here, and everything is ready actually for a dryer. So then I just, I always sort my things. I just love sorting somehow. So when you move things around, all the yarn has to come out. And I already told you last time I sold a lot of yarn that went for a new house, and people that are gonna use it, and it's gonna stay there for just in case. And what did I want to say? Yeah, I found this yarn, and it is super soft, and I thought, I could over dye it to something more muted, and then the pile that I wanted to over dye became bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was like, do I really want to do that? Because this will never be as soft and muted as this. I mean, even though it's blue, you can tone it down, but it will never be exactly what I'm looking for. And I thought, the yarn is not only for me, I can also knit for other people. And my sons don't not wear that much of sweaters. They're pretty quickly warm in the jobs they do. So they both have one, and Patrick uses it in the attic because it gets really cold there. And Michael has a cardigan, and he uses that a lot. So I have a friend, and he loves knitwear. He's very knitworthy. So I thought, okay, he loves blue. So I had an idea. I knitted him a sweater before. It was just a plain sweater. I think it is the Great Plains actually from Hintonstein. I think that is the pattern. And he wears it a lot. I also made him some hats he wears a lot. So I thought I will knit him another sweater. And then I had an idea. I thought, the fisherman's sweaters, or the Norwegian Genser, I think that's what you call. All the stitch patterns, I really like that. And I was looking for a pattern on Ravelry, and there were almost none for fingering weight, and I had fingering weight. So then I had to start combining. So I took the measurements from the sweater pullover, that is the Jaden from Isabel Kramer, and I used the pattern, and it was the Modern Gansey by Elizabeth McCarden. And the stitch pattern I used from that, because that was a bulky weight, and there's no way you can transfer a fingering into a bulky into a fingering. The stitch count will never match up. So I finished the body, and I am working on the sleeves. So that it was nice that that pattern had all kinds of stitch patterns attached to it. It's actually a free pattern, and you can just choose which pattern you will use and at what point. There were some recommendations. So excuse me. Yeah, let me see what's the front and the back. So this is actually, so there's a stitch pattern here. That is the moss stitch, I think. And then I just came up with this because I used to have a sweater with this. It's just the, uh, it's just so easy. It is 4x4, I think. And then the diagonal stripes. And then there was this pattern. And it was all separated by some carder ridges and that. And then at the bottom it became too long, so there was about 10 centimeters for every section. So I added just the bottom ribbing, so this is another repeat of the same length, and then I cast it on the wrong side, so you have a pearl ridge here, which I think looks really nice because there are also pearl ridges in between the patterns. So this is where I changed skeins because they were quite different. So now it's more like there's a stripe effect going on than that you really get. Yeah, what should I say? I actually see pooling on screen. I thankfully don't see it here because I really don't like pooling. I went down quite a big needle size for the ribbing because I like it when it just fits tightly around the behind. So I picked up for the sleeves, and I don't have that much yarn left, and I'm thinking it is quite big, so I'm not even sure the recipient will it might be too big. If it is, I will give it to my son, which is also okay. It is still a surprise. So, but I changed balls for every section, and I'm very distracted now because I see the pooling. So yeah, well, you can definitely see this section is a different color. It's much darker, but it is very fun to knit. You get different stitch patterns, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So that is something. And I don't know if you do that, but if you're knitting something mindless, your mind is in all kinds of different places, and a lot of the time I am thinking and dreaming about what I'm going to knit in the future. And then I thought about the whips I still had, and it was luring at me. And then all of a sudden I thought, wow, it is, I will tell you the pattern. It is the Rosina pullover by Steel. And I used yarn already frogged once because I could not get the pattern right. It was a honeycomb stitch, I think, something like that. It was not a difficult stitch, but I made a mistake. And if you made a mistake, you only see it so much later. So I turned it into the Rosina pullover, which is nice. It is also has the increases like that. It has lace sleeves and a lace on the bottom. And I looked at the patterns like, is that really something I want to wear? It is a beautiful pullover, let's just be honest about that. But is that something I will wear? And I looked and I just picked out the yarn because this is really beautiful and I want to knit this in something different. I already found the pattern. So there is lace here, which you can't barely see. And there is lace at the bottom, which I was working on, and it was going slow and it just did not just just didn't, I don't know, just did not make my heart sing. So I looked at it and I thought, okay, it's time to start podcasting. Seriously, that needs to happen this weekend. And then I can frog this and I will start something different. It is a beautiful yarn and you can see the pooling, so you can actually see everything on camera, can you? You can. It's not really pooling, but there's definitely color difference. I need to start marbling this very well, or I will choose a different pattern and I will hold it together with mohair. That might also be an option. So I have 400 grams of this, and this is my own hand dyed, and there is definitely some color difference, and that is what you see on camera, see? So what I will do first when I when I'm finished talking to you, I will measure my gauge, because this has been laying around for more than half a year, close to a year. So I think I can very accurately count the gauge, and this is pretty relaxed. So I have a measuring point where this will go to my next project. I bought a pattern, very simple. It is actually a pattern that can be used in multiple ways. It is a cardigan. It can be very easily transformed into a top. It has an option for short sleeves. It has an option for long sleeves, and there are beautiful bells. Are they bell sleeves? No, they're not bell sleeves. What is it? When it is cinched together here, and it's puffy sleeves probably. So, and there's again crocheted edging along the around the neckline in the front, and yeah, it was just so simple and beautiful. And I thought a cropped version would be very nice on a skirt maybe, or I would like a cardigan, also a cropped version. Yeah, I had many plans. I thought that was a perfect pattern for me, and with the crochet edging is just made it the romantic look I was looking for. So yeah, that Rosina pullover, that definitely will be frogged, and I will make some. First, I will count that. I think I need a bigger gauge than it is right now, so I have some mohair, and that might be a good idea to add some mohair to it, so it is blending the colors a bit more. So I think that is something I will start up. Hopefully not too soon, but probably that's how it goes, right? Um, I will keep knitting on. I have the two projects. I have the other one I just told you about, the beach house knit. That is the heart and soul. It only needs sleeves, but I put it away for now because it is garter stitch, but it is knit in the round, so you have to knit and you purl. But two sleeves again is also not even a job. I will think about it. I just wanted to finish the body. I did, and now I think what I want to do with the sleeves. Am I going to do that first, or am I going to start another project? I know I don't like to have too many projects on the go, and that really starts to make me nervous somehow, agitated. So even though I have many plans, I tried not to start too much, but I might be just totally suddenly go overboard and start all the new things. That might also happen. I'm very happy I have so many pairs of socks. I will just keep continuing. I think it helps if you go from the thicker to the thinner needles and just switch out a little bit, because my hands were very troublesome. I ordered some lovely yarn, and these came from Temu, that's like the Chinese web shop. And I also ordered something from Zaan's Geluk, and that is a Dutch store. I also ordered this is from the whole super soft yarn, and I ordered these samplers to look for the right colors. I think it's quite difficult to plan anything from a computer screen or a phone screen. So these are the actual colors, which is very nice. I want to try out this yarn. I have a few colors here. This is like the dried plaster, and this is also a very nice the damask color, which is a color I can wear very well. I also ordered this one. It has a little bit of silk. This is the color maroon. And I also ordered a skirt in dark red. So maybe this is very nice also for a cardigan, something lacy. And the problem is now I have in my mind how I want it, but I cannot find a pattern. I cannot find a pattern. So I might have to start making something by using, for example, this blueprint, and then make it into a cardigan, which is not a difficult thing. because at the moment you connect these points together and start knitting in a round, you can just keep going back and forward and add a lace pattern. It doesn't have to be complicated lace. I did also buy the newest pattern from Sari Nordland, and that is a pattern with cables and lace. Looks very intricate. It's very uh, it's daunting for me. I know I can do that. I can do all kinds of complex things, but it's not really my comfort zone at the moment. There's so much going on, and I feel insecure. And um, I just think a tiny little flower motif, just the three or five little eyelets that makes a tiny little flower would be so perfect to make it into a cardigan. And maybe the ribbing, do it in um, faux cables or something. I mean, I have to think about it. Maybe I should write down, make a little drawing about what I want to do, but I don't have that much brain space. So this is all for the knitting for now. I might need to, I don't need to, I might want to tell you a little bit about why I was away so long. So as you are maybe a long time follower, you all know about my health issues. Um, if you're new here, maybe you don't. I have arthritis since very young, like 18, and it was very damaging for my body. It has given me a life of a lot of pain, and also a lot of times you have to adapt because your body cannot adapt. So you have to adapt the fact that you can no longer walk for a long period of time. Then you have to adapt that you might never knit again because it's too painful. And then your body does adapt, actually it does. And then you can do things you thought you would never be able to do again. So it is kind of an imbalance you have to come up with, and you can start keep fighting your body, but that doesn't help. So about, yeah, what, 8 weeks ago, I suddenly experienced a lot of pain. I had all my joints were feeling like they were burning from the inside out. It was very hard to move, and I thought, well, I haven't had this for over 10 years. I really thought I was in the clear, everything was stable, and yeah, the fool you can be. You think you can do anything, and then suddenly it all comes tumbling down on you. I think it has to do with everything that has been going on for the last year, of course, maybe last years, and the big amount of adrenaline just keeps everything going, and then when things are starting to calm down, your body is getting hit. It is just yeah, it's just the thing that happens when you keep going. Everything is fine, and when you rest, then yeah, then things go sideways. So I waited for, I think, 4 to 6 weeks, and I can, I mean, my specialist and I, we usually communicate about the best course to take when things are not going so well. So she always said, try to double the painkillers. They will also help with the inflammation. So it all started out with one knee, and then it just kept going. So yeah, I just made an appointment with the hospital, and I just went there by taxi, and she said, this is probably a flare up. And I thought exactly the same. And I've been trying to cut down on medications for years, and it was going very well. But so at some point, you might reach a point that is just not enough to keep everything stable, and then suddenly everything starts tumbling down. That is how things might work. It might be. It's just for now. It's just a theory. So they gave me an injection in my muscle, in my behind, and she said it might take up to 2 weeks before it starts working, and then it works for around 6 weeks, and then it might be that everything is stable again. It might also be it's not, but it is very unstable. I At least I can knit again. Yeah, I've been weeks I could not knit. I could not hold a needle. I just was so tired. I only wanted to sleep. And I got really depressed. And I look at my yarn. It's like, maybe I can never knit again. What am I gonna do? And yeah, that's not helpful. I know, but it was really bad. And you start second guessing all the choices you made. And yeah, well, at some point I just was was so hard to live myself. I thought, um, if something I learned from the past is you just have to adapt, and if worst comes to worst, and then I just have to adapt, and I just have to find different things, and yeah, but I feel it is still very unstable because one step too many might result in, again, my knee is still very thick and very stiff. But if I look at weeks ago, it is definitely better. But it is so hard as soon as you can knit again. And knitting is really my thing that calms me down. I just cannot stop myself. I just want to knit. And that's just dumb. That's not a smart thing to do. But yeah, that's what happens. Today and yesterday was the first time in a few months that I actually cooked instead of just heating something, because yeah, I'm so immensely thankful that I'm here again. I'm so thankful to share what I'm passionate about, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope you can smile about the barrel I'm wearing, because yeah, I'm sure things will be fine. But seriously, you have to adapt. You have to go through the emotional struggle, and I'm sure you all know that if you're sick, or you experienced, or you had a COVID or whatever, it's like your whole world crashes down, and then you have to somehow pick yourself up and start believing that things will be fine again. And yeah, that's sometimes hard. That's You think you're invincible, you think you conquered it all, and then yeah, something else happens. But that's fine. It's not fine, but it has to be fine. You don't want anything like this, but this is life, and yeah, if you have a chronic illness or whatever, then you face these things. So I'm happy. If you can see this, there's a theme going on. My son bought me a beautiful candle, and he put it on the table, and this sweater was there, and it was all in the same color. He's like, "What, mom?" I said, "Yeah, I might be my new favorite color, and you just guessed it immediately right. You bought the right color candle." It was so sweet. Yeah, so I thought, well, at the moment I could knit again. I just had to spoil myself, and I have to buy something which I did not need, but seriously did make me happy. And then all the ideas come, and then as your mind gets better, your body will follow. It has to be in sync, or it doesn't work. So as fall is very rapidly approaching now, I'm so happy because I love to knit and love to wear my hand knit sweaters. There's nothing better than that. And yeah, then even Christmas is approaching very rapidly. So I hope you're enjoying the fall weather wherever you are. Maybe you totally have spring. Well, how does that go? We're in fall, you're in spring, right? Something like that. So yeah, I will go and edit this, and I hope you enjoyed seeing everything. I hope you got inspired, maybe. I would love to hear whatever you're working on, and I hope you have the time to like and leave a comment. And I seriously hope I will be here soon because I so much enjoy talking to you. Wish you all the best, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.